Hi guys, welcome once again to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about 6 things that we could start doing, or if we already do, that we could start reinforcing in order to spark positive change in our lives. Some of these things may seem very basic, but indeed they have within them the capacity to cause a big change, a drastic change in our lives. So listen with an open mind, take notes if you will, and let's jump right into number one. So number one is always have writing materials around you. Yeah, as little and basic as that. Always have writing materials around you. Always have a pen, a pencil, a jotter, a notepad, a piece of paper, whatever around you or within arm's reach. Why? Because your words of inspiration can come at any time. A message can come at any time. An idea, a creative idea can come at any time. And you realize that when such things come and we're able to pen them down, it's easy for us to follow up with them. Many a times when we get things like this and we just store it in our mind, most times they are stored in the short form memory, and after a little while it just goes away because there is really no experience with it. But if we can write it down, definitely whatever is written cannot be forgotten. You can always go back to it, you can always refer to it. So always have your pen and paper by your bedside. Most times we sleep and we have some dreams. Some dreams are instructions, some dreams are words of direction, or we have a vision, or we just hear a voice, or whatever it is, or we just wake up to a knowing. So it is very, very convenient to write it down at that time and then to be able to follow through with it. And then always have a pocket size notepad that can fit into your purse, your handbag, or even your pocket, because it can come just at any time and in any place. So number two is to practice the art of listening. As little and as basic as the art of listening can change your life. Many times we listen to get a response, we listen to be able to hit back, but that is not the right thing to do. We should have an open mind when somebody else is speaking, so we can understand whatever their intentions are, the place they are coming from. You know, people have deposits of wisdom, no matter how illiterate the person is or inexperienced or whatever. There is always something the person has to offer. I always say everybody has something to offer. And then when we are engaging in conversations with people and we are listening so that we can have words to give back, or we can have words to confront them with, we lose the essence of what they are saying. Most times they can be talking trash, but you can always listen with an open mind. You don't know what you can gain. You know, it is said that there are treasures in earthen vessels. People carry within them wells of wisdom, wells of knowledge, wells of experience. And so if we can listen with the right intention, you'll be able to draw from their inner wells. You'll be able to draw from what they carry within them. Most times it may not even be okay to us, like we may not agree with everything they say, but there is always something to learn from. So let us not just listen because we have words to say back, or because we can formulate something very quick and give back to them. Let us listen to be able to understand people's standpoints, and then it will make us less critical and less judgmental of others, and it will help us to coexist better with people. Number three is to build good relationships, build healthy relationships, healthy friendships, build good networks, build good social interaction with people, and be good to people. Don't maltreat somebody because somebody treated you unfairly in the past. Don't use someone else's fault to judge another person. Everybody comes with their own baggages and their own good sides. So watch out for red flags in your own character. There is always the blind you, the part that you may not know, the part that you may not see, but that others can point out to you that, well, this is not really nice. So work very hard to correcting red flags that are within your character. And then when you meet people, be intentional about them leaving you better than the way they met you. Don't make people leave you worse than they met you. Some people, you meet them and then when you're done with them, you feel so worthless, like they just make you feel so bad about yourself. But don't be that kind of person. Be a person who helps to lift other people. Be a person who helps to encourage people. Be a person who helps to point people to the right direction. It's not just about money, it's not about finances, it's about making people better than the way they met you. Let people refer to their past, how they got better off or how they improved in this area of their life or the other, and then let it point to you. It's worth more than money. So let us address our own red flags and let us leave people better than we met them. You're going to reap a harvest of whatever you sow, because what goes around comes around. Number 4 for me is one of the most important. It is engaging in spiritual exercises. I cannot overemphasize that. This may include prayer, it may include word study, it may include listening to messages of other people, it may include communion, it may include giving to God and to man, but engaging in spiritual exercises. This world that we live in is a spiritual world. We can't just live in the realm of the senses and just live our lives that way. It's very wrong, because the physical that we see is controlled by the spiritual, and so it is wise for you to also go through the spiritual to control your own physical. So let's not be laid back about spiritual exercises. It may not seem very palatable to you in the beginning, but when you start engaging in it, you'll see that it is part of your life. Building a strong prayer life, being able to allot time to study God's word, being able to open ourselves to spiritual instructions. These things give us direction. These things give us instruction. These things give us a path to follow. Moving around on this earth without a strong spiritual base is a problem, because if you're not doing it, other people are doing it, and some other people are doing it from the negative spiritual, from the negative supernatural. So you don't sit back and be a victim. You need to exercise and engage your own spiritual activities. It's not wise for you to sit back and let life happen to you, because life will definitely happen. So engage in spiritual activities. Let God speak to you. Let God lead you. Let God guide you. He wants communion. He wants relationship. He wants an intercourse with you. And if you are open to receiving Him in that light, He's well able to come through for you. He's very ready. He's actually waiting on you now to open yourself up. So if probably you were doing it before and you stopped doing it, this is a wake-up call. So for those who have not even started, this is a good place to start. God is waiting on you. God is eager to build relationship with you. God is eager to help you through the walk of life. He created you for His own pleasure, and then He gave you a destiny. Who would know about a product more than the manufacturer? He knows the product. He knows how to go about using the product, and that is to say for us and God. God has created us. He knows who we are better than we even know ourselves, and He knows what way would function better in our walk of life. So let us go and anchor ourselves on the one who was, who is, and who is to come. Let us anchor ourselves on the one that never lies and never fails, who doesn't even have the capacity to lie. He will lead you through the journey of life. You will hear a voice behind you saying, "This is the way, walk in it." You will not walk in the dark. Your path will not be dark and slippery. Your path will be lighted, because the path of the just has a shining light, and it shines brighter and brighter. Now, this is the heritage for the children of God. So if you are born again, make sure to engage in these spiritual exercises, because what are you born again for if you have a relationship with the one who saved you? If you are not born again, this is a good place to give your life to Christ. And yeah, that is number 4. The number 5 says, learn to forgive, learn to create healthy boundaries, and learn to move on. That's a whole lot, right? Yeah, learn to forgive. When we don't forgive, it's as though we are carrying a heavy load. Imagine running a marathon or a long distance race, and you're carrying 2 bags of cement on your back. You can only go so far. That is it for unforgiveness. When people hurt us and we hold it to ourselves, we don't want to let go, we don't want to forgive. It's as though we are carrying those bags of cement and walking through the journey of life. We can only go so far. Now, we are not forgiving for the other person. The person may not even be remorseful. The person may not even be sorry. We are forgiving for our own sake, for our own selves. We are forgiving for our own eternal destiny. Now, forgiveness is you being able to let go of whatever anybody did to you. Forgiveness is you thinking of that person and not having that feeling to hurt the person back, or you being an opportunity or a situation where you can pay the person back and you do not. You thinking of the person and you don't think evil of that person. That is forgiveness. What forgiveness is not is you restoring that person back to the place where he was in your life. Now let me explain to you. Somebody tried to hurt you. Okay, somebody tried to poison your food. So the person had access to your kitchen and had access to your food, and the person tried to poison your food. Thank God, by God's mercy, you were able to find out, and then you didn't eat the food, and then you were safe. Now, what forgiveness is that you're saying, okay, please, I let go of whatever you did to me. If I get access to your food, I won't poison it. If I get access to hurt you, I won't hurt you. I just want you to go with your wahala. But what forgiveness is not is you restoring that person into that same place where the person has access to your food again, where the person has access to your kitchen, because who knows, he can strike again. When you are hurt, trust is broken, and trust takes a lot of time to be rebuilt. So the fact that we say forgive doesn't mean you should allow the person back into that same space, because you don't know the person's heart, you don't know the person's intentions, you don't know if the person is sorry about what he or she did. So restoring the person to that same place is just another business. It is not forgiveness. So the person has to build trust with you again over maybe a protracted period of time where it's okay, I'm not comfortable with you coming around. But that is not really forgiveness. Forgiveness does not say you must restore the person. So let us forgive people and create boundaries. While you are forgiving the person, you can keep the person at arm's length. While you are forgiving the person, you can keep the person out of your house. Don't give people the room to always come and hurt you again and again. If we're able to build boundaries, then there are things that we may not have to suffer. Really. Let us build boundaries and let us be able to move on. Say no when you need to say no. Say yes when you need to say yes. It is not by force. I'm coming over to your place. It's not convenient at that time. Say no. I know point 3 says build good social interaction, right? Build good relationships. But the balance is for you to create boundaries. While building these relationships, create boundaries. And when people hurt you, move on. Move on. You meet better people. You meet better, much more better people in the future. So move on. Life can be that way. Move on. Point 6 says dare to be controversial. Yeah, dare to be controversial. Even though point 3, like I said earlier, says to build good social interaction, good relationships, know that not all of your actions will be accepted by everybody, and you should be okay with that. And so that illustration where they said a man and his wife were riding a donkey, and they passed a set of people, and people said, you are wicked. Both of you climbed the donkey. You want to kill this donkey? At least one person should ride the donkey. Don't kill this donkey. And so the man says, okay. He now came down from the donkey and let his wife ride on the donkey. And then they passed another set of people, and the people said, this woman, you don't have respect. Imagine you're on the donkey and your husband is trekking. At least you allow this man to breathe. You want this man to die, let this man ride the donkey. And they're like, oh my God, okay, fine. The lady comes down and lets her husband ride. And then they meet the third set of people, and they say, this man, they're a very bad husband. Treat women right. How would you allow your wife to be trekking while you're riding on a donkey? You're a very wicked man. And then the couple were confused. Now that is life. No matter what you do, it will not be accepted by everybody. If you like, both of you should ride the donkey. If you like, come down from the donkey. Whatever it is. And I think the last set of people, they both came down, and they both came down from the donkey, and they were just walking with the donkey. And the last set of people said, you will have a donkey, and people are not riding the donkey, people are walking, and people are not foolish people. So what do you want these people to do? That is it in life. Every of your action will be accepted by a set of people and criticized by the next set of people. And you need to be okay with that. Life is just that way. So what is important is for you to do what is right, regardless of who approves it or not. Now, your compass should not be based on men's standards. It should be based on what God's standard is, on what is morally right, and on God's specific instruction to you per time. Now you're standing in front of a river, you're standing by a river bank, and you want to cross to the other side. To one, God says, get your rod, strike the rod, and part the sea, then walk on dry ground. To another, God says, get a boat and cross to the other side. And yet to another, God says, walk on water. Walk on water, literally. Now, the man who is used to crossing a river with a boat sees you parting the sea, and he will criticize you for it because he doesn't understand God's instruction to you. The man who sees you walking on water, because he's used to striking the rod and the sea parts and he walks on dry ground, will criticize you for it. How dare you try to walk on water? It is wrong, you should walk on dry ground. And so that is life for you. People will always criticize what they don't understand. God may be telling you something, and the other person may not be privy to God's instruction for you at that time, and they will criticize you for it, but do it regardless, because that is what is important. Do that thing that God says for you to do and be happy for it. Now, your being controversial should not be from the standpoint or with the intention of proving a point or trying to spite other people. No, it should be based on your obedience to what God is saying to you at the moment. And that is what is important. If you can do what God says to you, if you can obey God's word for you part time, because it may change. Like I talked about crossing the river. You may go through the river by boat, and while you're returning, God may tell you part the sea or walk on water. So we should be sensitive enough to know what God is saying to us part time. Let us be open-minded to receive God's instruction for us, because the instructions are our lives. Dare to be controversial, dare to do God's bidding, and if the next person doesn't approve of it, who cares? The one who is of most importance approves of it, and that is what should be taken into consideration. That is what is important. So dare to be controversial. Don't be a people pleaser. Don't live your life trying to please people. What will he say? What will she say? They should say, but live your life. Do what is right. Take instructions. Sometimes corrections will come as you go through life. Be sensitive enough to take the corrections that come from a good place and then move on with your life. Don't let people's opinions of you, people's opinions of what you're doing now sway you from where you're supposed to be or what you're supposed to be doing. So don't be a people pleaser. Be controversial if you must, but do what is right regardless. So if you can internalize these things and put them into practice, they will literally change your life. They may seem very basic, but they have within them the capacity to cause a major shift in your life. So by way of recap, always have writing materials around you, practice the art of listening, build good relationships with people, learn to forgive and move on, engage in spiritual exercises, dare to be controversial, and live your best life. Till I meet you again in my next video. Have a blessed week ahead.